good to see you. It's been like, what? We missed each other at the last meeting we were supposed to go to.
Yeah, it was the AGM.
Yeah.
I think we saw each
It was
other
the
in
last
person.
time,
But
right?
we've had lots of chats since then.
Yeah.
Which was good.
How was that first meeting that you guys had?
You know what? Actually, it went well. I
Yeah?
wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew what to expect in the sense
Okay.
that I've attended meetings before and I've watched you and the other chairs before me, but it's always a little bit different when
Sure.
you're doing it yourself.
Yeah.
And with new faces
Yes.
as well. But no, and in person, that was something new as well.
I
But
was so
just-
happy to hear that.
Yeah, it worked out really well. It was great to see familiar faces in person. It was a great way for the new people to be able to get a sense of who everybody was.
Right.
So it was great. It was really, really great, and looking forward to the next one.
Wow.
Yeah.
How are the new members?
The new members, I think, are going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's going to be a good synergy with the group.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think we're all sort of aligned. Everyone's very passionate, which is something that we were going for.
Yes.
And a lot of really great ideas.
Like team people.
Yeah, so no, I'm excited. I think that there's a really good energy, and yeah, I think it's going to be a good year.
That was always my goal.
Mm-hmm.
Get that meeting done, and get it done in like half the time. You know,
It's good to stay focused.
just not much of a meetings person. Which is why when they came to me to join the board, I was like, I don't know, man. I don't think I'm your guy because I'm into less meetings. But bless her heart, Karen Mortfield,
Yeah.
she changed the world.
But you know what?
convinced
It's
me to-
good.
to
I'm
join the
glad
board.
she did because
Yeah, I am glad.
It's the format of the meetings and that sort of aspect of it may not have been what you're the most comfortable with, but I think your ideas and your ability to think outside the box is what she saw, and I think it was really, really great for the board. And I think you were the right chair at the right time because we were going through the pandemic, and it wasn't, the first year of the pandemic. We were sort of into it,
Right.
but at the same time, we were looking for new ways to engage the members and to do things in a different way because not only because we had to, but also because we wanted to. And I think your ability to think creatively and think outside the box was exactly what we needed.
Was there a lot of outside the box thinking though?
Yeah, I think it was just, when
I
you
think
were
we stayed
piloting
pretty
those,
close.
but I think it was the different projects and piloting those and trying to find new ways to engage the membership outside of the signature events.
Right.
I mean, I think Monique was really helpful with that too because she came up with a couple of new events when she came on board as well. So I think it was just a combination of that and the fact that as a board we were aligned with what you were thinking, and we were also thinking, we need to find new ways of doing things. So it just really worked out well.
So when you first came in, did you ever think as a member on your first day that one day you'll be the chair of this thing?
Honestly?
Did you even know who the chair was or think about that?
No, I was
Crazy.
not. I wasn't aware of the administrative aspect of the board. I mean, I attended the events. I don't even, honestly,
Isn't that mind blowing?
I don't even remember who the executive director. Oh no, Leslie Whitten.
Could be.
Something. Anyways, she I think was the executive director. And but yeah, no, I wasn't. That was the farthest thing from my mind. I mean, when I first started participating, I was in my
What was your first thought when you came in?
So
Like, what to do, what not to do? Because I know you think
As
about
chair,
these things.
or as
no,
just
as
an
just
event?
when you walked into the event. Because you've always been like this.
I've always.
So
been.
what did you say to yourself in your mind to prepare to go to your event?
I don't know. It was probably things like make sure you don't trip, make sure you don't have food stuck in your teeth.
Isn't that amazing?
Make sure that you. But you know what? I had a sense of security in a way because I wasn't going by myself. I was going with Ron.
Right. So
And
nice to have somebody to go with.
It was nice.
Right,
It
and
was
like
nice.
a senior, somebody who's kind of show you the way.
Yeah,
show you
and
the
he
ropes.
knew some people, so he was able to introduce me.
Right.
And it was a good icebreaker,
Yeah.
and it allowed me to chat and come into my own from there. So
Right.
I'm grateful that I had sort of that mentoring process, and I wasn't just sort of thrown into it like, okay, go to this event and
Good luck.
good luck.
Yeah.
Like it was, we did it together. So it was nice. There was one event that I didn't go to, and
Can you remember the one you didn't go to?
But you know
wow,
why?
that's amazing.
Because there was a commemorative coin that had come out, and I think someone from Richmond Hill had designed it. And I like to collect coins and all of that stuff. And when I found out that they had received these coins at this event, I was shattered because I was originally going to go.
Oh my God.
And then I didn't. So yes, I don't remember, to this day I have no idea what the coin was. I don't remember what it looks like, but I remember that I missed out on it. It was, I think it was like 2018, so I could probably Google it and see what that coin was. But yeah, so that was one event that I missed. And
so since then you're like, I am never, ever, ever going to miss an event.
No, definitely not, because you just never know what's going to come up at these events.
That's amazing.
How long have you been a member?
Not as long as you.
I won't hold that against you.
Actually, come to think of it now, we joined both. We've been in business 16 years. Isn't that interesting?
Oh, so there you go.
And we joined first the Markham Board of Trade.
Yeah.
And then I want to say then the Richmond Hill Board of Trade. Because I never even thought about there being a Richmond Hill Board of Trade. Mm-hmm. I grew up in Markham, so to me it was always like Markham. That was the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. My
And-
first exposure, I think, was to the Markham Board of Trade as well.
And from a visibility point of view, the Markham Board of Trade was way more visible. I don't know how they heard about me, but they just showed up at my door.
Oh.
Yeah, and they had
Wow.
a salesperson. She came over, Chris.
Oh, yeah. Chris, yeah.
Rogers?
Maybe?
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So she comes to you, hey, how are you? Welcome, da-da-da, here's who we are. This is what it's about, this many businesses, da-da-da. And I was like, okay, I guess I should belong to something like this. And it was the Markham Board of Trade. And I don't know if I went to any events.
Oh.
At that time, I was just very much into like,
Building your business?
just like I was more looking inward, I would say, right? Than looking outward.
Yeah.
Although I think today I would say it's good to have a balance between the two. But I never really did that much back then. And I wouldn't have even stayed as this is the part that I tell Monique till today, I wouldn't have even stayed as a member of Markham had it not been for Chris. Because she would every year or 6 months stay in touch. Hey, how are you? Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
And then when the renewal comes, it's like, okay, Chris. It just becomes
Because you built that
routine.
relationship, yeah.
Yeah. And then I think she stopped being there. Or I just stopped hearing from her.
Yeah.
And right after that, when the next renewal came, I think I was like, yeah, I don't really go to these events. And there's no more Chris, so what is there?
Yeah.
And I never really thought of the Board of Trade as a place that I would go to meet people or anything. I just thought it was like, it's some business directory and
So if people need you, they'll reach out.
I'm listed one more place. Our business is listed one more place. And really, it's also my way of saying, I actually factored this was saying thank you to the community. You know, that, hey, I'm a part of this community and, you know,
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you to you guys for being the community. So that was just my way. And I was like, it's not a lot off the budget, right?
Yeah.
So that was why I joined and I stayed. Then I heard about the Richmond Hill Board of Trade, but it came later. So to answer your question, I think not as long as you for sure.
Yeah. But it just goes to show you how important all the different working parts of the Board of Trade are. You know,
Yes.
like, I mean, yes, it's important to, you know, the members are important, the board is important, the executive is important, but the staff are critical too, because the staff sometimes have more one-on-one connection or have a broader reach. And
Well, they're involved in the day-to-day.
exactly the operational side of it. So it's definitely a team effort, but the day-to-day operations staff, like they're so important to the board.
So you started going now to the Board of Trade, and you're like now, you've been there about a few years. You know some people. What were your expectations of the Board of Trade experience after that?
So I think it was
Since your motto this year is about experiences.
experiences. Yeah,
You must start with your own.
Yeah, I liked going to meet people that I didn't necessarily see outside of events.
A
So
change
that
to the
was-
office.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
a chance to go somewhere. It was nice to see people that I didn't always, you know, connect with on my day to day, and then also to meet new people as well. And you know, depending on the event, whatever the experience was. No, I mean I don't golf, so I didn't go to the golfing events. But one of the things that I really enjoyed was the Business Achievement Awards, because there are so many businesses in Richmond Hill that, despite me living here since the 80s, I've never heard of them. So I found it
Isn't that
really
amazing?
educational to hear about these businesses that are
Yeah.
literally in my own backyard.
Nice.
So I really enjoyed going to that. There's different women's events that I enjoy going to, just
Like
hearing
what?
about, well, there's the monthly women's networking event.
Okay.
And so sometimes they have speakers. And it's just interesting to hear about different people's experiences and women's experiences, you know, balancing home
So
and
you
all
would
of
say
that.
like the Richmond Hill Board of Trade actually did a good job of doing something specific for women too?
Yeah.
Since we're talking about specific experiences?
Yeah, I think so. I've met lots of different people
awesome.
from that event.
Good.
Although I should say, it's not just women. The first time I met Errol was at that event.
Was at a women's event?
Yeah, he goes to that event. And you know what? I was really impressed when I saw him there.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it doesn't have to just be women. It's nice when men support women. And when I was younger...
That's interesting, because I was thinking I'd be supported by not attending and just letting them have their own space, because I thought otherwise it would just be a general event.
I think it really depends. Yeah, I think it depends on...
But he did it that way. There's like many ways to do it.
Yeah. But one of the things, and I don't know if I should say this, and maybe we'll edit this out later.
Whatever.
But
we're eating now, okay? There's no cameras.
But when I started working, when I graduated from school, I thought, I'm a lawyer. I'm not a female lawyer. So when I'm out there meeting people, I don't want to pigeonhole myself, and I don't want to just participate in women's networking events. I want to be where the people are, to quote Ariel.
Right.
I didn't want to be pigeonholed. But I have to say that now that I'm a mother and I have 2 young kids, and I'm experiencing that, tug of war between work and home and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I really enjoy speaking to other women in business. Yeah. Because they have those experiences, and they've, for the most part, figured things out that I maybe haven't quite figured out. Yeah. And I really benefit from that. And that's not to say that I want to network or go to women's only events, but I really see the value of them before, whereas my younger non-mother self was just too afraid. I think I was just afraid that people would only see me as a female lawyer, and they would disregard me, which sort of seems silly. But I just, like I said, I didn't want to be pigeonholed.
No, it's not an uncommon thought.
Yeah, and I mean, I grew up in that time frame where gender didn't matter. Like it was, I never felt held. It didn't.
Really?
It didn't. Yeah, I never felt held back.
Good.
Being a girl, being a woman, but for some reason when I started
That says something about Ron.
I think this is something about Ron, and also just like in school, the messaging that was sent to us going through school. But yeah, at work too, like I never felt lesser or, like I couldn't compete on the same level. So that's why I was kind of concerned, like, well, I don't know if I want to just focus in that area. But now I see the benefit, and I enjoy the women's events that the Board of Trade has, in addition to all of the other events where everyone can come.
Yeah, I didn't know how far back it all started. So it's good to know it was always there.
Oh, the women's event?
Yeah.
I only recently started going to the women's events for the board. Okay. But there were other networking groups that were, women-based. And I did participate in some of those as well.
So it's interesting, right? To go from, so that's a specific kind of experience, but like it's now not just a question of what might be relevant gender-based, but now I think when we talk about experiences, if you think into the future, it's also interest-based. Yes. Or say passion-based. Maybe there's your kind of like, those are kind of like markers that you can use to create your, what you want to call your experiences. Call it interest-based or passion-based. Yeah. Right? Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's how we came up with our pilots. Yeah. As it turns out.
And that's sort of what we were talking about at the last board meeting, trying to come up with, in addition to our signature events that appeal to different people for different reasons. This is really good, and I like the fact that it's close to home.
It's really central, right? Off the 407.
Yeah, no, it's close by.
The one thing that they do make sure that I find is like, this place is not just, like before it used to be golf course, but they've really brought out like the club feel, but also keeping it open to the public. Really. The amenities are like amazing. The like from the range to the practice facility, the whole experience is really, really good.
Yeah, no, that's good, because now that we're sort of resuming life as normal, and I'm working from home, I'm looking sometimes when I'm meeting with clients places to go, and it's nice to stay in local, and this would be a fabulous place to bring clients.
The last 2 years of the pandemic and all that happened, right? When it first started coming upon us, honestly, going through like a leadership role at that time, and thinking to myself, I'm kind of freaking out a little bit too. you know? But having that kind of like expectation of, well, if you're going to tell everyone it's going to be okay, then, you know, how can you fake it till you make it?
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad, but it was still like, there were challenges, right, that we were going through. So to be there really helped me just kind of get myself into that mode. So if you're going to be busy telling others, and it was not an easy time to have to go through a replacement of an executive director.
That's true.
That's not an easy time.
We had enough on our plates, just, you know, with the pandemic and all of that. And you're right, having to switch executive directors was a challenge. But I think it worked out really well. I mean, I think Monique is a really great addition to the team. She's got great ideas, and she's very friendly but professional, and she seems to really connect well with the members.
One of the best things I heard Monique say in the last little while, when we were talking about the pandemic, she was talking to executive directors, a couple of executive directors from some of the other chambers.
Right.
And they said to her, you know, Monique, we feel a little sorry for you because we've seen the good times as well as the pandemic. All you've seen has been the pandemic. So you see how there's like this sympathy kind of like for her, right?
Yeah.
What does Monique do? She turns that around. And she just says it. I don't think she even was telling me to say like anything about herself.
Yeah.
We're just updating on a conversation. And she says, you know what I said to them? Like, I said, since this is all I know, you know, I'm
Yeah.
good with this.
Yeah.
And then wait till it only gets better. So you're right. And it's her attitude, you know, her background, but mostly her attitude.
Yeah. Yeah. No, she's very hardworking and she's very positive. And I kind of feel like it doesn't matter what we throw at her, she finds a way to see it through, make it happen.
Or even the ones that she's not going to see through, which she's really good at, is like, got you, heard you. She doesn't really make that person feel like any less than an idea she's not going to go with or can't go with.
Yeah.
Right? Because she's also got to make sure that it's realistic and it fits all the other sort of elements,
Parameters,
right?
yeah.
To make it successful. So, yeah, and she's got to deal with everything from the directors to the staff to the members to the community partners like the politicians and their teams, and it's a lot.
I was gonna say it's not easy. And you know, in the last year being vice chair to you, you know, I sort of was privy to more information and saw more of what was going on. But now that I'm chair and I'm getting a greater insight into all the nuances and all of the balls that she has up in the air and she's juggling, I have a greater appreciation for what she's doing, because she makes it look effortless, but you know, effort is definitely required.
Well, one of her other advantages is she was also, I think at one point in time, on the board.
She was, and actually
Right?
that's interesting
so
because
that gives her, makes her even
she has
better.
that insight because
Yeah.
she's been on the board. When I first started on the board, I came midstream through a year. I started in March, so before the AGM in August, and during the end part of that year, Monique was actually on the board. So we were together for a little bit of time. I didn't know her that well, because it was just a couple meetings that we had.
Wait, you were on
before.
the board while she was on the board?
At the tail end. Yeah,
Really?
so from March until the AGM. Yeah.
So it wasn't that long ago.
No. Yeah.
Definitely, I wasn't on the board at that time.
No.
Definitely an advantage then.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And actually it's been helpful for me because she had the 3-year term as well. So she had a couple years before I came on. And some of the things that we're trying to do, like the retreat and stuff like that, I have my knowledge from what we've done in the last couple of years, but then I can also tap into her knowledge because she goes back a couple of years before that.
Yes.
And some of the things that happened in the last 2 or so years were a little bit different from what happened in the before times, as people like to say. So I like to be able to tap into her knowledge as a former director.
Yeah.
For insights on things too.
Well, I think having her, and I think even all the other previous chairs, reviving that group and getting them together again, they really came out for it, and they were really excited to see it like re-engaged or re-energized. Yeah,
so we're planning for that as well. Monique and I have been speaking about that. But no, I think that it's a great resource because just because you're not necessarily a member of the board or chair anymore, there's still great experiences and lessons that can be passed along. And I think teamwork and building, and I mean, that's what it's all about. No one's a silo. We all work together, and different people can have different components of ideas, and they may be good in their singular sense, but when you combine it together, you come up with something like the food here, right? All of these different tastes that are great on their own, but when you combine it together, it's magic.
Yeah. And then some things that combinations have never really been thought of before. So.
But we're going to revive that. Not revive it, you revived it. We're going to maintain it.
Keep building. I think I got to where I got to just because of what the people before me set up. So it's like they set up, we score some, and we set up some more.
Yeah.
And it's like constantly a balance between sowing seeds of new ideas, developing the ones that are already in the way, on its way, and then really celebrating the ones that you've gotten all the way through, right?
Yeah.
But it's just full cycle.
No, it's true. I feel very fortunate because I've had the experience of dealing with a lot of different chairs over the years. When I first came in, it was Randall Becker, and then Jason Cherniak, and then Rod Johnson, and then yourself. And everyone's
so different in that
very
group.
different, yeah, very different, but really great skill sets and insight. And I feel like I've been able to take a little bit from each person, and plus my own vision and way of doing things to sort of guide me. So I feel really fortunate to have been able to see all of that. Yeah, it's been a good experience.
And what's nice is the previous chairs are still around. Even if it's not an event that you meet them at, not one of them has ever, you call on them, that they don't answer.
No, that's true. And I think that's something that really speaks to their character as people as well. They're very giving and very generous with their time.
Yeah.
And you're right, whenever I've had to reach out to someone, everyone has been very happy to
responsive.
Respond. Yeah, very responsive and helpful.
Yeah.
And the message is always clear: if you need anything, let us know.
Yeah.
So I feel very grateful for that, and I know that as the circle of life continues, then I'll be able to.
What if you had your next chairs event here?
We could.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Good.
I tell you, I did one at the office, fine, in the boardroom, and they were happy to be there.
Yeah.
And this year, when Monique decided to have, typically we've had our golf events at, other golf courses that are in the area, and there are a lot of good ones in the area. For some reason, Eagle's Nest has been able to kind of set itself apart. And it's not easy to do that. First of all, you have to have a golf course that enough golfers will, not people who you pay to do your marketing, but people who actually play the course and go, that's different. So they have that right away. Yeah. It is considered like up there out of the public courses, maybe the best.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, and I trust you. I don't golf, but I know that you're a golf connoisseur. So if you're saying it's at the top, then
when
I
I say
believe
the best, as in the most challenging, don't come and play here.
Yeah.
If you're not looking for an experience.
Okay.
Yeah. And the guys that travel around the world will if they're coming from anywhere else in the world and you want to give them an experience, you bring them here.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's a relatively new course compared to some of the other ones that have been around. So they've also had time to develop their clientele and their cachet. And Eagle's Nest comes in and boom, takes it to that standard and never started somewhere else. It just went straight to that standard. So I always remember that about this place. So difficult course. Great, but it's not just difficult, it's difficult. What a golfer often wants is they want the challenge, but they want it to be beautiful too.
Yeah. So not something where it's frustrating, where you're sort of miserable at the end.
Yeah.
You've enjoyed.
But everything from how things are manicured, as you walk in, right from the entrance, right from every part of it. The greens,
it's
how
a
they're
really beautiful entrance, I think.
Right.
I'm not planning any weddings or
right.
anything like that, but it would be a great
They do a ton of weddings here. Ton of weddings.
Bar mitzvahs.
Yeah. And you'll see the wedding couple moving around on the golf course taking pictures.
Oh.
Yeah. Because there's so many good spots that they'll take you around. great training facility for people who want to develop the skills. So it's got a great reputation. So this year when Monique said, you know, we're going to do it at Eagle's Nest, it became this like, ooh, we're going to another level.
Stepping it up, yeah.
Yeah. And believe it or not, you know, there was a reaction. There was a reaction to that going, Eagle's Nest. You know, usually, like there's the usual, and then there's, this is what we're doing this year. And look at the timing of it. It was a time where we wanted to really up our game, up the image, up what's the Richmond Hill Board of Trade all about. So it's like, you want to up your image? Yeah.
I think come here. No,
come here.
Because I think
it's not just image, it's the quality of what you do, right?
Yeah.
It's what you associate.
Yeah. And having a positive experience. I think now more than ever, people want to have those feel-good experiences. I think there's, you know, a lot of need for that.
One of the big keys to it as chair to think about, I find, is how do you make non-members not feel like non-members? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if a non-member comes along, oh, you're a non-member. So I think that's, again, one of the things I always used to tell Richmond Hill, any Richmond Hill community organization, that, you know, one thing Richmond Hill Board of Trade has going for it, it's got going for it that no other, I find, Board of Trade has going for it, is that it's got this really unique size. It's, the people in there are doing big enough things to matter.
Yeah.
But the group is small enough to be intimate.
Yeah, I agree. There is a level of intimacy that you don't necessarily get in
That's
other
really special.
organizations. Yeah.
So you can actually feel, like, speaking of experiences and engagement, it's very personal. And that's the essence, that's the root of being able to develop, like, comfort and trust.
Yeah.
Especially in this day and age. Right?
Yeah.
So for members, that's a huge, huge, unique proposition. I don't think there's enough said about that.
Yeah, no, I think
You know,
you're
come
right.
here if you want to keep it small. Nobody ever says that, right? But if
I
you say
think that
come here if you
there's
want to
this-
keep it personal,
Yeah.
I think there's something there.
Yeah.
And I have heard it from members who've said, I've looked around. This is the Board of Trade I want to join.
Yeah, no, I mean, I remember...
And no
even-
disrespect to any other sort of
No.
way of doing things, right?
Yeah.
This is ours.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that the culture within the board is really great. And that's one of the things that I really liked about it, was the fact that people were welcoming, people were friendly. And, you know, you can have more
Without
personal
being, like,
relationships.
pushy.
Too pushy, exactly. Yeah. I
Right?
don't always like that sort of in-your-face, hardcore
Yeah.
approach.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good way to really feel like you're having connections with people, which more and more I think relationships are where it's at, right? You know, whether it's family or friends or what have you, like it's the strength of the relationship that is so important, because that's how you get to know someone. And you can have sort of a surface, hey, how's it going? But at the end of the day, you want to really feel like you know someone, and you know, and sometimes things that they're going through, you can help them with it. It may not necessarily be your business that is the answer that they need, but if you know someone and can make that connection for someone to help them on their way, kind of like 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, but yes, please, thank you. You know, but with the Board of Trade, I think that's fabulous.
So what do we want our non-members to want?
Well, I think we want our non-members to want to come to our events.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, we're going to be, we've been doing social media advertising and all of that, but I think we're going to continue to push on that front, so that there is not just information that is going to our membership, because we want to expand beyond that as well.
Sure.
So non-members will see the types of things and activities that we're doing, and if if things appeal to them, then they can come to events, and then they can transition from being non-members to members.
You know, I would love for non-members to feel super welcome. And I think we have just the right kind of attitude amongst our members to be, come on in, you know, welcome.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So that's one thing that I think we can do.
Is like getting on their radar. I think that's important, because if they don't know what we're doing and that we exist, then that's going to be a problem too. So we have to reach them.
So non-members, you know, get a taste of what it's like, get access to the advantages that you want, and be a part of something that is bigger than just one city, that you can go anywhere and connect to.
Yeah.
Because we are connected to Ontario, then to Canada, then to world. You know how many people don't know that?
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Like when I wanted to do something in another city, like in Niagara Falls, I wanted to do something.
Yeah.
I called Monique and I said, Monique, can you introduce me to somebody to the chamber in Niagara Falls? Done.
Yeah.
Right? And right away, it shortcut the path to what I was looking for. Hey, this should be how every torch is passed.
You know? Yeah,
Hey,
I'll keep
we
that
got
in mind.
ideas here today,
I'll make a reservation now so that George and I can come a year from now.
right? I think so.
Yeah, but honestly, it has been really helpful for me, not just today to hear your insights, but we've had a lot of discussions over the last year and in the last couple months leading up to this transition, and I really appreciate your insight and sharing your knowledge with me. So thank you for that, and to be able to do it in a fabulous setting with great food
Makes
just
the
made it so
transition
much
easier.
better. It made it so much easier.
If they had only told you were going to have a lunch like this,
I would
you'd have signed up how
would
long
have
ago?
signed up years
yeah,
ago.
I'll take the chair. I'll take all the
16
hours
years
of
ago.
work, all those meetings for a meal like this.
Yeah,
Right?
no,
It's worth it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, honestly, I think we're very lucky to have this idea of transitions between previous chairs and future chairs. I was supported a lot, and I would say even now, in role as past chair, I have somebody I know I can always look back to and count on. And also I gotta tell you, now I'm understanding one of the risks the chair runs of the vice chair is going, I wonder how that one's going to do as chair. I never thought of that. I was thinking of me in chair. I wasn't thinking of you in chair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now as I'm thinking of you in chair, I'm thinking, yeah, this is a great outlook. This is a great future to have. So it's also something back to you to say, not that you're worth it, but yeah, it's because you're somebody who I think will take it seriously. And you're somebody who, when a person gives you an idea or you speak to, you really receive it respectfully. You seem to take everything like you note it down well. You take it to heart. You listen very, very presently. So
Thank you.
if it's a pleasure for you, it's a pleasure for me. Just working with you and getting you there.
Well, thank
and
you.
you're going to do amazing.
I'm looking forward to it.
You're already doing amazing.
Thank you. But knowing
that
that I
first
have
meeting.
support, and you know
Yeah.
what, the first meeting went really well. I was nervous about that just because I knew that was going to sort of set the tone in some ways, and the fact that it was successful really made me feel good, and it just gave me that extra boost of confidence to know that I can do it. It'll work. We've got a good team. Good things lie ahead. We've been positioned well from you and those that have come before, and we've got a good path forward. And I think it's going to be a good year ahead.
Let's go win.
Yeah, go team. Fabulous, really, really good.
Great conversation.
Oh.
So,
Yeah, you just touched upon everything. Like within the hour limit that we
Well, you give
Yeah.
us food like this, we're gonna do anything you want. Is the pasta here all handmade, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Even
amazing.
our tortellini are from
Really? So the pasta's made, what about the sauce? Is it handmade as well?
Yeah,
I mean, is it like
everything.
original from scratch?
yeah.
That's amazing.
Everything here is handmade, even our dessert, ice cream, everything.
Okay, dessert, gotta remember that.
save room.
Always.
Desire wonders.
The last time I was sort of involved in something like this was at my wedding.
Oh my God!
I mean, I'm
There
not,
you
like I said,
go.
I've participated in events that were filmed,
Right.
but it's on Zoom or something
Yeah.
like that. It hasn't been this level of.
Now that I'm getting defeated with this kale thing because it's got this little stick at the end of it and I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah,
But-
I have. See, the cameras weren't rolling. I would say, cut them off.
Just
and
cut them off,
leave the
right?
Sticks.
That would be the wise thing to do.
If I was in private now, I would take out my phone and
Yes, right? And share it with the
and post
feed
it
the
somewhere.
phone first. Is that what they
Would you like
say?
some
Feed the
for
camera.
chocolate?
And when they come, these people are from everywhere. I'm gonna pause because this looks like really good again. Amazing.
Stop. The bourbon ice cream and bourbon bacon.
That looks fabulous.